You right everyone, welcome back to the Hammer and Talk 2 YouTube channel. I've come to speak about, obviously going by the title, the big upset in the Carabao Cup between Bristol City versus Manchester United. Now Bristol City beat Man United 2-1 in this game. You know, in the dying embers of the game, they got a goal, the winner. I'm not happy, I've got to say if I've got any Man United subscribers, I'm not happy that Manchester United are put out, right? That's not why I'm happy. I'm happy because this is football. This is why people love the game. You know, for results like this, when you've got such an underdog playing against such a favourite in this day and age, you know, when these clubs are spending millions and millions and millions at these players, they're just throwing it at them. Then you get a club like Bristol City come along and knock Manchester United out of the cup. Oh, come on! Well done, Bristol City. I'm not glad that Manchester are out, but I'm glad there's been a huge upset in this cup. Now, when I got told about this, right, well, actually I saw it on Twitter first of all, and then I thought to myself, oh, Man United have been knocked out by Bristol. Then when I spoke to my mate, it's a really big Manchester United fan, he gave me a lot of detailed information on what went on and all that. I thought to myself, like after I got off the phone to him, I thought to myself, wait a minute, what time, what? He's just sat there and named most of the Man United big players. So I thought, maybe it's not a selection issue, because I thought maybe Manchester United, you know, rested all their players, maybe done a full rotation. Check these names out on this starting 11 for Manchester United, right? Check this. Right, Romero, okay, yeah, De Gea's out. Darmian, right, Lindelof, I can still count as a starter. Marcus Rojo, Blind, Shaw. Alright, McTominay, we all know he apparently had a real shocking bad game, but he won't count. But that's 5 so far. Pogba, Rashford, Marshall, Ibrahimovic, right? So what's that? 9. 9 out of 11 of these players I would consider strong, you know, starting 11 players, or at least competing for that starting 11 team. Even on their bench, they had Pereira, Smalling, Ander Herrera, Mata, Lingard, Mkhitaryan, Lukaku. He ended up coming on as well. Lukaku to try and save the day. Well, that fucked up, didn't it? Jesus Christ, that didn't work. Lukaku didn't come on with his big S on his chest, Super Willy, coming on to try and save the day. No, it didn't work. Unfortunately for Manchester United, Bristol City scored the goal. But as far as I'm aware, from what the report that I got about this game, is that Bristol City actually took it to Manchester United. Although Man United were quite dominant in possession, and you know, barring that McTominay, whatever his name is, he kept on giving it away. But apparently Bristol really held their own. You know, they didn't cower down from United. They didn't go all defensive. They actually played a really good balanced game, and that's a real refreshing to see. You know, that a team like that has gone, you know what, we've got this far. Why are we gaining our shell now? Let's just carry on as it is. And they've gone through and they've done it. Congratulations to Bristol City. What a ridiculous upset. For me, I would say, you know what, that apparently they had a fan invasion as well. You know, them fans, I'm telling you, moments like this are what stays with, especially the kids. It stays with them forever. Maybe not so much the adults, they can have a laugh, maybe think back a bit, but when you're actually a kid and you go through that, or I haven't actually been through a pitch invasion, but if you're actually a kid and you go through those kind of things, they are the things that stay with you for life, you know. And that is just brilliant about this game, this sport. And it's crazy because the contrast that I've done, you know, with that West Ham's previous game, I've done a video on West Ham's game against Arsenal in the Carabao Cup. That is the absolute, you know, the absolute Judas, the horrible, disgusting, just a real nasty side to football. It's just disgusting. There's no place for that kind of football in this sport. And then you get stuff like this that goes on, where a little team, they carry on playing, they play to their heart's content, they play with spirit, they play with faith and hope that they're going to do it. They've got faith in their abilities that they can pull it off, and they do, against an absolute, you know, heavyweight in the world of football. Manchester United, they're not the Manchester United that we knew, you know, back in 99 and 98, 2000, that Manchester United, but they are still a ridiculously huge force in the world of football, and you'd be a fool to deny that. So Bristol City, fair play to you lot. Fantastic result, and hopefully it will live long in a memory for the young and the old of that club. You know, because you've got to sit there and think, you know, in the big world of football, that could be a lot of people's first game of watching it, and that could be a lot of people's last game of watching it. You know, and I think if you're a Bristol City fan, let's just say Bristol City get knocked out in the next round of the cup. if you're a person and let's say for example you have somebody that unfortunately passes after that game, you know, they're a Bristol City fan and they get knocked out, you'll be like, you know what, it'll be a little bit of a you know, like a bonus to be like, you know what though, the last thing they'll remember about Bristol City is that we knocked United out of the fucking cup. Go on, the Bristol. You know, this is what football is all about, magic moments like this. So, you know, kudos to Bristol City, kudos to their manager, their backroom staff, well done. Manchester United, Mourinho, what are you thinking, man? What are you thinking? Now, I know people do say this is a Mickey Mouse Cup and that, but it's still silverware, you know, it's still a trophy. You can still be a holder of a trophy, and as far as I'm concerned, in football, you know, that's all you've got. You know, at the end of the day, the legends end up going, you know, they get old, they die, the owners and stuff and board members, they all get changed over to different people. All these things change in football, but the cups will always be there. You know, they're always on the record, you know, till the end of time they'll be on the record books. So, you know, for me, I really do think that all clubs should go all out for the cups. Not specifically like all out, like full starting 11, but maybe just bring the odd youth player in. But, you know, ultimately go for the trophies, try and win some stuff, because you want to get your team used to lifting trophies above their head, you know, so it's not alien to them when they get to a final all of a sudden, or they're in a semi-final. Do you know what I mean? Would love to know your thoughts on that. You know, if you agree with me, if you think you should always go for trophies, if you don't think you should always go for trophies and just concentrate on the league, would love to know why you wouldn't, because you never ever get any trophies for finishing, you know, from 20th up to second in the Premier League. So for me, I don't know, I would always go for a trophy if I was a manager. I'd always go for a cup run with my team. But anyway, people, I'm gone. Comment, like, subscribe, and as always, keep sharing my stuff. I'll see you all later.